Hey guys, and welcome back to the My name is Chris Orme, and this is a new game series. This is Franchise Hockey Manager 2. Now, this game is brought to you by the same people who made Out of the Park Baseball, which behind Football Manager is probably the most well-known and well-produced, well-thought-of management sports game out there. It's a game that I've been waiting for a while to be able to play, and yeah, I think this is a really good version of a hockey management game. It's only in its second version, its second iteration, so I believe that this series can continue to grow and get better, and they've taken a lot of good things from Out of the Park Baseball. They've left some of the stuff that may have make that feel a bit cluttered in places for me. Couple of new things they're doing for this series that isn't in anything else, so it's totally a different development team, but it's under the same company that makes them. This could be good. This could be good. So I haven't actually played this yet. I've had about 5 minutes of messing about, looking at some screens, trying to figure out where some stuff is so I'm not lost immediately. I do have the manual, which is online, so I will be pausing the recording, checking stuff out in the manual and coming back. So if there's any weird sort of differences in sound levels or something, it may be to do with that. But ultimately, we're going to jump in and play a little hockey. So for those of you that don't know, I am a big ice hockey fan. I have been now, for 20 years. I hadn't realised it's been 20 years, but it's 20 years. A little over 20 years at this point. So I had a friend who I met online, and he had a weird name on the game we were playing. Everybody else had fairly normalistic names, and his was Days AVS. So I was asking what the AVS stood for, and he explained it was AVS, and it was Avalanche, the Colorado Avalanche, an ice hockey team. And they'd newly been moved from Quebec. The Quebec Nordiques had moved into Colorado, and they were an ice hockey franchise, and he was a fan, he lived locally, and all the rest of it. So I started following that team, and boy, what a team it was. It was a great team. So, I fell in love with the Colorado Avalanche, and I'm a big fan of all the Colorado and Denver sports teams right now. I've sort of picked them up, and over the years, thanks initially to Days and his love of the Avalanche. So, the Avalanche went and won the trophy in '96, their first season in Colorado, and then in 2001 they picked up another Stanley Cup. And I was around for Forsberg, Sakic, Hayduke, Rob Blake, Adam Foote, and Patrick Waugh, which is an unbelievable lineup. That's like 5 all-time great players. And I was there to see that, and now things aren't going too well for the Avs, and that's going to be my goal. I'm gonna jump into what I know, because I'm learning the game. So we're going to name this Rumbling Rockies. Mainly, let's go for current rosters or current database. So mainly it's because when the Rockies start rumbling, you better watch out. There's about to be an avalanche. So I'm a big fan of all these Colorado and Denver sports teams. Good year for the Broncos, not a great year for any of the other teams, really. The Avalanche, they're not doing so good, but they got some really, really good players. I think we got 1 or 2 nice defenders. We got defensemen. We got a couple of decent young players, and the attack seems very, very sort of set right now. They look good, and they're going to be good for a while. So really, there's not too much that we need to worry about. Now you can see here, since I'm learning the game, I'm going to show you a little bit about it as we go. You can see we got the 3 Canadian leagues there, Ontario, Western and Quebec Major. We've got leagues from England, 2 of them. I didn't know there was 2 of them actually. I know about the Elite, but I didn't know about the secondary league. We've got Czech Republic, Finland's system there, France, Germany, Japan, Norway. Russia's got a couple, Sweden's got a couple, Switzerland, and the 2 other leagues in the United States, the ECHL and the Federal. So we're going to load them all up because this isn't a game that eats up a lot of processor or anything of that nature. So we're going to create our manager, Chris Orme, and I really like this as well. It lists the big nations up top. These are the big hockey nations. Okay, you've got a few European options, and then you've got Canada and United States. Those are the powerhouses of the hockey world. But you can see here, just in the A's, you've got all these nations, including the Azores. I mean, that's outstanding options to choose from. I'm really happy with that. Burundi's in here, Cook Islands, East Timor, Guatemala, Laos, Mayotte, Nauru, Niue. I don't even know where this one is. This is one I don't know where it is. Niue. I don't know how to pronounce it or where it is. Niue. Qatar. Saint Pierre and Miquelon, Sudan. But no, we gotta be Welsh. We gotta be Welsh. So, date of birth 8883. This old man is gonna take up and play. So I want to be general manager and head coach, and I wish they would have do the same as the nations, but the big leagues on top. So the NHL should be the first in the list for me, and then maybe the Allsvenskan and the Continental. Maybe set them out that way in terms of like league reputation, instead of just just through the thing. Alphabetical. That's the word I was looking for. So we are going to be the Colorado Avalanche. I have put graphical pack into this for badges and that kind of thing. So automatic starting reputation. We don't need a password for this. Commissioner mode, that gives you a lot of other options. You can edit anything on the fly. It's basically like a cheat mode. You'll be able to see everything behind the scenes, mess with everything, rule changes, owner changes, just everything. Cannot be fired. That's something that I would like to play with, and I usually would, but for this, we can be fired. We can be fired. I'm just learning the game. So, general manager and head coach. I'm guessing that the head coach has a lot of day-to-day operations to deal with, lineups and that kind of stuff. General manager is more what I would play. But I want to see a bit of everything, so we are going to set up as general manager and head coach. So you can see now the game is becoming, and what I like about these games as well is the better the coaching, the worse, blah blah blah. Scotty Bowman. That you get all these quotes and little facts. Musician Neil Young, Luke Robitaille's a great kid and good player, but ask anyone on the street, they probably think Luke Robitaille is a type of salad dressing. So that's why Bruce McNeil traded for Wayne Gretzky. So yeah, it gives you a little bit of a flavour for the hockey world, a little bit of history, a little bit of extra sort of a little bit of extra to watch when you're basically just waiting for the game to be created. So, that's pretty good. I've never had major knee surgery on any other part of my body. Sako Koivu. Really? Really? Love it, love it. I didn't hear it because my 2 Stanley Cup rings were plugging my ears. Patrick Waugh. Awesome. Do you believe in miracles? Oh, that's the commentary, that is, yeah. Al Michaels. Oh, yes. Like, it's just some lovely stuff, and they do it in the baseball game as well. And another thing to talk about quickly before we get into this game would be the fact that there is an NFL version coming out as well. They are developing a game they call Beyond the Sidelines Football, and that's currently slated for release in 2017. It was coming out in 2015, but it's got put off due to a couple of reasons. 2016, sort of, it was lining up, but unfortunately the developer had some health issues. I believe he had a stroke. Best wishes to him. Hope he gets better soon. Thoughts with him and his family at this time. They have hired a new lead developer to take on that game. And really, that looks quite promising, and I will be trying to pick that up when that comes out. But we're about a year, maybe 12 to 18 months away from that game dropping, and it will be the first version, so feature light, bug heavy, maybe. I think they did a good job with Franchise Hockey Manager 1, but 2 is leaps and bounds better. And of course, Out of the Park Baseball has developed over the years, many iterations, many different improvements, slight improvements, refinements along the way. So there is that to come out. So you Google for the games Franchise Hockey Manager, Beyond the Sidelines Football, Out of the Park Baseball. It's a trio of games by the same company, and they're all going to be very, very good games to play. They're not heavy on graphics. Football Manager's in a category of his own for production values, but these are the next tier for me personally. I rank them a little bit below that in terms of depth and everything else, but really they are the best at representing the management side of the game of their respective sports. So really jump in on them if you can. So you can see here we got our game, got a manager picture. That's something I like as well. Everybody's got their picture that that is built. If you can, you can watch the cursor, you can see it turn into different things. You know that that's gonna, be a link that you can click on. And picture, you can do a lot of different things. So I'm actually gonna go away for about a minute or two, create a picture that better reflects me, and we'll be back as soon as that's done. And well, there we go, guys. I mean, it's not perfect, of course, but it's a little bit more like me. So that's quite good. You can see here you got your scouting, coaching, and miscellaneous ratings as a coach. So personally, the game says I'd be better at coaching forward players than anywhere else. I'm decent at negotiating, but my player management skills are lacking as a new GM. And evaluating potential rather than ability. So we'll see how they change, if they change over the course of the season and this career as such. So you can see here you got the 4 main tabs here for controls. The game options here, including setup options, which includes how you get into the Hall of Fame, injury frequency 1.25. Why wasn't that just 1? I don't know. We'll see how injuries are. We can adjust these kind of things. Players peak at 24, and physically they peak at 23. Aging is currently normal. Monthly auto saves, and you can enable cannot be fired in this place as well. Face gen settings, the amount of percentage that these players have a beard. So that's quite fun. That's quite fun. So 95% of people will not have beards. And then these are relative totals. So every beard has a chance. Has the same chance of occurring as any other. So we're going to leave all that as default. Team and league controls. This is where we're going to do most of our stuff. We'll come back to manager options. Again, this is where you can go in and out of commissioner mode and set up a bunch of things. What do I want to do? Training, I don't want to handle. This is where you need to, if you don't know the game very well or anything else, this is where you need to set things up. So I don't want to handle training. I want to be able to scout and draft. Trade and sign, yes. Roster moves, yes. Tactics, I'm not really good at. That's something I need to learn. So for now, we're going to put that to the assistant and learn what they do. And the lineups, that's something I feel fairly comfortable with. So we're going to do that. Available jobs, owner conference. So my objective is get to the playoff race. And you can see here, this is my job security bar. Not really great patience from Stan Kroenke, the owner. So that's, you know, something as well to keep an eye on. Sorry. Bunch of other stuff here. And then this is how you advance the game. You can either finish today and go day by day, or you can auto-play to the preseason, regular season, all-star, trading deadline, playoffs. You know, everything is up here to auto-play up until a point. You can go to next year if you want to sim into the future. All that option is there. Team and league, you can see here, you can look at your team or any other team. You've also got your sort of farm teams here. The Fort Wayne Comets and the San Antonio Rampage. You can also check other leagues, and if you go down to the... There we are. If you go down to the US Hockey League, then those teams appear. So you can change here and go whatever you want and check out whatever you want. So I'm going to keep this back on NHL. And then you've got your roster, which is fairly self-explanatory. And if you look over here, so jersey numbers, the cap hits per season. Ability, our best player is Sergei Varlamov. Potential, our best player is Nick McKinnon. Of course it is. Great players. You can see here we've got a bunch of options, but we're really stacked up in attack, especially potentially. You know, that's pretty good. Eric Johnson, Tyson Barrie is there. I know there's a couple of other players. They might not actually be up here yet, but Rantanen, Matt Duchene, and Gabriel Landeskog is there as well. So I think that's a pretty good balance. It's 3-star worst potential, and that is Kevin MacLeod, Jason Skilly, Nick Holt. Is that Nick? Yeah. Is this Jack Skilly? I thought it was Jace. And John Mitchell, Rito Berra as well. So those are all players I could get rid of, and really I don't need on the team. They're all 28 to 31. You know, they're decent players, but you know, these are the players you could improve on depending on the cap hit. I mean, some of these players here, 165, 18, I think I can find better options for that kind of money. Maybe just promote some youth players that aren't quite as good now, but will be in the future. You look at the ability of the team, and you know, we've got a couple of good right-sided defenders. We're a bit low on left-sided defenders. We do have our two 35-year-olds, Beauchemin and Stewart. But really, you know, we could like trade those veterans away if we're not making the playoffs, promote more youngsters. Zadorov is there, who is a potentially good player. So really, you're looking at this team, and it's not bad. It's not in bad shape. Contract lengths, you can sort by anything here, whether they are waiver eligible or not. You can also filter them out by a bunch of different options. So you can look at the contracts and see what else we've got elsewhere. Waivers, trading block, who's on your short list, you can create that. So there's a bunch of other stuff to go into. And of course, these all play into whatever link you're on. So the Comets here, you can see, that's an interesting logo. So really, Sean Sidlowski looks decent. He does look decent. Maybe we can call him up, but he isn't actually our player. So we could offer him a contract and try and get him up. So he's a right winger. You can see he's got good hockey senses, decent conditioning. Character issues, well, character should not be an issue. He's playing at potential. But 25 years of age. You know, we can sort of get him scouted and maybe look at bringing him up. He'd be a cheap option. He's already at one of our farm teams. And then we look at the San Antonio Rampage and look at potential. You can see we got Chris Biggrass, Picard's pretty good. Joey Hishon's pretty good, or Hishon. Siemens. We've got some options here. We do have some decent options. So there looks to be two left defenders, a right defender, left wing, right wing, centre, and of course Calvin Picard, who I desperately want to call up because I don't value Rito Berra that highly. So I'd rather have Picard up as my backup and develop him in case anything happens to Varlamov. So we do have some options. So possible free agents. Who's ready to play now? Who we need to re-sign. So you see here in the main roster and kind of ready now, we got Nate McKinnon, Tyson Barry, Bodka, and Sean Matthias as well. Those all really have to be re-signed. Calvin Picard will have to be re-signed. Gormley's got potential. You know, skill we can let go. But Siemens, he's shown we need to re-sign. Grigorenko, we need to re-sign. Rendulic and Agazino. All those have potential. A couple of those are actually going to be starting members, so we will need to do that. Free agents, also look at players the team owns the rights to but does not have under contract. So we're going to have to check these one by one. So Bodine, 3.5 star. Connor Bleakley is 4-star. He'll be really good. Boykov is another option there. Butcher, Kofa, Greer. So yeah, these are the players I think that I desperately need to start looking into signing these and getting these on the farm teams if we've got the contract space. And I think you're only allowed to offer, is it 50 contracts a season? I think it's something like that. I need to read up a little bit more around it. But if we can get that sorted, you can see here as well. Oops, I didn't mean to click on him. I meant to click on the signing deadline. So we got 2017. They should do it by... Yeah, it should do it by date, not by month. Should do it by year. So we've got 2017, 18, 20, and then there's no signing deadline for Bleakley or Aitocalio. So yeah, we might have to deal with stuff there. Free agent signings. There's depth players here. Nobody really... I mean, if we did get rid of some of those, like Beauchemin, for example, we could bring in someone like Fistrick to come in. 29-year-old, he's got a few years ahead of him. He's a 3-star defender right now. So maybe we do moves like that. Potential. There doesn't seem to be anyone with a lot of potential. So, again, more depth if you need it, but there's nobody really out there that's worth doing too much. Depth charts should let you know who you've got in which position and what roster they're on. So you can see here that Siemens and Pickard probably need to get called up to the main roster. And elsewhere, we're fairly okay. I mean, Grigorenko, there's depth at the moment, but I'll get rid of Mitchell probably. We're not very deep on the right wing. So maybe one of these that has potential could get called up, or maybe we're having to change players from the left or centre over to the right. Maybe just sign a right-sided player. But our draft picks are on here as well, the list of prospects. So everything is accessible through these rosters. Not through these rosters, sorry, these tabs. You can check your rosters and everything else here for all your teams. Do all the work you need to do before moving on. So that's pretty decent. Personnel, I think, is the next real big one to take a look at. You can see here that everybody's got stats, so we can't change the owner, we can't change ourselves. So if we get rid of like ourselves off that list and look at everybody else, you've got 5 assistant coaches, reputation, the tactics, like the player management style. You look as well at scouting and training options. So you're basically trying to get the best training you can through your coaches. You're trying to get the best scouting you can through your scouts. And just the best sort of player management level as well along the way. So I'll be making a lot of changes there before the next video. I'm going to go in, maybe do a few promotions, contract re-signings, and set up the scouting once I have the new scouts in place. So the last thing to check in this is what we've got on here. It's official, Chris Ormey's the new GM for the Colorado Avalanche. This hiring has been in the rumor mill for the past few weeks, but the club made it official today. Terms of the deals were not announced. So let's delete that message. Welcome from the Avalanche. The Colorado Avalanche organization would like to welcome you as the team's new general manager. Your contract will pay $1.72 million a year over a 3-year term. Hell yes. I'm in. That kind of money? Of course I am. Avalanche owner Stan Kroenke does have demands of you though. And for this season in the National Hockey League, the expectation is playoff race. Well, we failed this year in real life, so that is a bit of a... yeah. We might need to make some moves to get that done, to be fair. 75 mil to work with, currently have 68 point quarter, yeah. Best players Varlamov, McKinnon's expected to be a future star. Trading deadline, salary cap, salary floor. So we need to be above the floor, under the cap. We can't do trades after March 1st. And now we've got Jerome Messanero's ranking for the entry draft. So these are the top 30 players that he believes are going to be in the draft. And if you look at it, I'll just look at basically potential at this stage. So 4.5 star, up to 4.5 star. So 10th overall down to 30. For me, there's no difference. There's no difference now between 10th and 30 because the potential is there. And, you've got centres, left wing, left, right defence. No goaltenders. So any of these players are worthless. It's worthless worrying about if you're 10th or 30th. I didn't mean to say that the players are worthless. I meant like where you are inside that is worthless. And probably the start of the second round as well. So there's a potential to trade back from... like, if we had number 10 overall, for example, we could even trade right out to the first round and go to the first or second pick in the second round, pick up draft picks, maybe a good player, we trade back, we get more options, and we're still getting the same caliber of player. However, what you really want to do is try and trade into the top 9 if you don't already have a pick. So, Jacob Chychryn looks like a good little player. Ready to play now, good potential. Another left defenseman, Olli Juolevi. I'm butchering names as I go, boys. I'm butchering names, I always do. Michael MacLeod. And then you got Isaac Lundstrom, Alexander Nylander, Matthew Tkachuk, Jesse Puljujarvi. Okay, Patrick Lane on the right, and of course Austin Matthews is the big dog in this draft class. Now we don't really need a centre. Left wing might be an option, but actually if we remember our depth, if you look at our depth chart, we had more left wingers than right wingers, and I know we've got a good left winger as well, I believe. in the Rampage. Is he left? Rendulic is right. Where's the comments? No. Unsigned draftees for the Avalanche. No. Oh, he's actually in the main team, isn't he? I'm an idiot. Yeah, Rantanen. So Rantanen is a left winger as well. So really, we're looking at the right wing into... Oh, where's that gone? We're looking at right wing, so 2, 3, or 5. And 2 and 3, Lane and Puljavi are actually better players now than Nylander. So, and even then, you can see really Lane 6-star potential, and yeah, 3-star ability. So Lane might be the guy that we would want on this team. We've got a couple of decent defensive options. He'd help the offense out a lot. There's no goaltenders in this, so I'm not going to delete that. I'm going to keep that as it is. Read all messages just in case. So yeah, guys, we're going to leave it there. And I'm going to go off, set the team up, and we'll come back in and take a look at how things actually stand in terms of when you're playing a game. And we'll see where we are then. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. There should be links down in the description as well as to where you can go get this game and the official forums. And as well, I'll link the manual. I will link the online manual, just so that if you want to, as I'm playing this video, if there's anything I don't explain well enough, you can always go to the manual and take a look at as well. But yeah, leave a comment. You know, what do you think of this game, first glance? Any tips or tricks if anybody does play it? Is there anything you need to keep in mind? And apart from that, guys, we'll just see you here back very soon for the next video in our Franchise Hockey Manager series. I've been Chris Orme, signing out from the Rumbling Rockies.